Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Okay, Gerald Celente with us for the full hour coming up at the 20 after. We're going to take calls for the entire two-thirds of the hour that's left. But going back to Gerald, you got cut off. You were getting into some of the solutions, some of the ideas as we go into this greatest depression. And then you were also commenting on this new fraternity stunt thing that they're trying to claim was Rand Paul kidnapping people, but they're not even giving the woman's name. Sounds very, very suspicious.
Well, it's really pretty stupid, too. I mean, come on, a guy wanting a girl to take some hits of a bong when he's in college. Who thought? I mean, really? I mean, what is this, Ozzy and Harry, to Leave It to Beaver week? And let's get real over here. And here they're making a big deal out of this one. Hey, how about those people in those white shirts and ties and those very expensive jackets that are giving the orders to bomb innocent people in foreign countries? You think you could get upset about that a little bit? Hey, how about a Predator drone in a Pakistani's backyard who had nothing to do with you and wiping out the family? And they're talking about a couple of bong hits? How about all these psychotic drugs that these psychopaths are on that they're selling through Pfizer and all the rest of them? And they're talking about a couple of bong hits? These guys are a disgrace. They call themselves the media. How about calling yourself a little puppet?
Continue.
Well, what we're saying here, Alex, is that when the elections come up in November, there's not going to be any change yet, because going to the Republicans from the Democrats it's a two-headed one-party system. People ask me, who would I vote for? And I say, on the social issues in terms of the environment, clean food, and those kind of things, I would vote for Ralph Nader. On terms of the economy, not becoming involved in foreign entanglements, a Ron Paul. And that's what this country is looking for. Not they talk about centrist parties. We don't have centrist parties. We have radical fascist parties. Here's an example. You know that wonderful little story that came out last week about in Portland, Oregon, how they closed down a 7-year-old's lemonade stand?
Yes, I did see that report.
Well, listen to the language. This is from the guy who we pay money to, taxpayers, Joe Kawaguchi, environmental health inspector. He said, we have to put the public's health first. And this is the guy they're talking about in Portland, Oregon. A lemonade stand must be licensed under state law, said Eric Pippert. How about Puppet, the Foodborne Illness Prevention Program Manager for the state's Public Health Division? Both county inspectors are, and here he goes. When you go to a public event and set up a shop, you're suddenly engaging in commerce. The fact that you're small scale, I don't think that's relevant. Our role is to protect the public. Hey, how about that millions of pounds of E. coli tainted beef that just went out into the public? Here's the deal, Alex. You crash down on squeezing lemonade kids, 7 years old, and you let the big guys take a free ride. The Tysons, the ConAgras, the con games from the too big to fails. So this is what it's all about. This story is a perfect representation of where the country's going. Squeeze the little people.
Well, that's like last year in Sacramento. Twice, armed agents went to a car wash about a 4-cent unpaid federal tax bill, but then for 10-plus years, the insiders told the Securities and Exchange Commission exactly what Bernie Madoff was doing, stealing close to to 100 billion. Stay there, Gerald Celente. Let's get into more of your trends on the other side. Alex Jones here with urgent information concerning trendsresearch.com. The Trends Journal distills the voluminous ongoing research of the Trends Research Institute into a concise, readily accessible form. By tracking 300 separately defined domestic and international trends, the Trends Journal establishes the connections that others fail to see or misinterpret. Gerald Celente's Trends Journal allows you to anticipate change, recognize the implications, and take protective strategies. Individual readers from every walk of life can put the Trends Journal Trends Forecast and Trends Analysis to practical use. Extra information to keep you well informed throughout the year when any current event of major social, economic, or political significance occurs. Trends Journal notifies its subscribers of their implications. When you subscribe to the Trends Journal, you'll also receive Trends Alerts. Visit trendsresearch.com today. That's trendsresearch.com. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. This information is too important to wait.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal-Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091. Visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
We are on the march. The empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
TrendsResearch.com is his website. Our sites are PrisonPlanet.com and Infowars.com. You know, Gerald, if you just joined us, just brought up the lemonade stand in Portland, Oregon. These little girls, 6 and 7, they wanted $150 from them. It's the mafia. But then I was mentioning the more famous cases out there where the IRS visits with armed agents twice saying pay your 4-cent bill at a car wash. And it's been admitted even in the Wall Street Journal that in the last decade they've shifted the IRS to focus on blue collar, not even white collar. So you got the crooks in the system trying to protect themselves. And Gerald mentioned how Tyson and others, they can have literally in some cases hundreds of times the violations of even other big companies, but they're allowed to operate. Same thing with BP in Houston and Texas City. And here's the headline: Tyson's profit surges while everybody else's goes down. So it shows how it's a big boys game. It's a monopoly game, Gerald Celente.
It is, and it's becoming more and more like that. I've said this since the beginning, as people have been complaining about Obama and calling him a socialist and a communist. I said, it's fascism, the merger of state and corporate powers. You just look at the numbers, they're all there. Pick the sector. The banking sector, as I mentioned, 10 banks control 80% of the action. You look at agriculture. A couple of big firms control most of the business. You look at drugs. You go down the line, retail. Walmart is taking over the country. Every sector, they're squeezing out the little people. And all the regulations are being tilted, as you mentioned, whether it's the IRS or the sales tax people going door to door to pizza places and beauty parlors, shaking them down for every last cent, where they're letting the big criminals run free. And, you mentioned about the Clintons and this Goldman Sachs guy she married. The Trends Research Institute began in Rhinebeck, where they got married in 1980. And we left Rhinebeck about 3 years ago because the neighborhood started going bad. People like the Clintons started coming up there. It's all of these people that think they're better than everybody else. Because after all, Alex, you see it. Any place they arrive in a foreign country, they're waving from the top of their jumbo jet, and by the time they get to the down the gangplank, they have bowing dignitaries and a red carpet rolled out. I'm not kidding you. We left Rhinebeck because the place got a bit too white for me. And it was all of these arrogant people, the kind, that go to the Hamptons, started finding a different location, that was north in the country. And these are the people, it's on and on again, that they actually believe that they're entitled. And it's just like Michelle Obama going to Spain. How could anybody with any dignity put on such a spectacle like that? If you're going to go on a vacation, do it quietly rather than disrupting everything around you.
And they demanded that entire beaches be shut down so she could frolic around with her girls. This is the new royalty. But the good news is Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Obama, has the lowest approval rating now of any president in history at this point, and they're in free fall. Get into your forecast, because you accurately said you'll start seeing entire police forces disband. I see that every day, in smaller forces. Larger forces, like out in Oakland, they announced we're going to respond to armed robbery, to car theft, to home invasion. We're hearing they're not going to fix the sidewalks. So they're raising the taxes as all of the basic services are being removed or restricted, and they're slapping toll roads on major roads to give the profits to foreign offshore corporations. And they just think this gravy train's going to go on forever, and now they want to start a new war that'll further bankrupt us, and now they're having to admit we're going into a depression, and you've said you see it really breaking out by the end of this year. How do you see the dominoes falling?
It looks as a currency crisis to us. That's what we're looking at. But again, there are so many wild cards. For example, in September, if the United States and its flunky allies begin to board or attempt to board Iranian ships, that could be the kind of thing that really throws the world economy into a death spiral. Look what's going on right now. Again, these are the things that you can't predict. What's going on in Russia with this horrible heat wave and really the destruction of so much of its wheat crop. And then you look in what's going on in a lot of Asia, particularly Pakistan, with all of these floods. So you have and then, of course, in the United States with our own disasters man-made by BP, which, of course, everything's okay now. And by the way, this is important, Alex. You look what's going on in Russia, in Pakistan, what's going on in the U.S. In every instance, you're hearing the people complaining about how unresponsive the governments are. They're going crazy right now in Russia. They're firing people. Same thing in Pakistan. And, of course, we see with the Katrina quality rescue skills in the U.S. Here's what every thinking adult has to grow up to. There's nobody there to lead you or to save you. I don't care what country it is. Governments, by their nature, are run by people that are basically sociopaths that are only interested in their own power and could care less about you, and their incompetence. They've never worked a day in their life, most of them. They've only learned how to game the system to get a cushy political job. So when we crash before 2010 happens, people better be prepared for it. They better be able to weather this storm, because if there's war with Iran, as you well mentioned, you're going to see oil prices